Welcome to Star Expose. If you love celebrity news and real entertainment updates, you're in the right place. It was one of those mornings that felt different. The air was buzzing with excitement, and yet something tender lingered behind the cameras. After a 2-week break, Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos finally made their long-awaited return to their live show. The audience could feel it, that electric mix of comfort and curiosity. They had missed them. And when the lights came up, there they were, smiling, glowing, playful as ever, the beloved duo who had spent decades turning ordinary mornings into something unforgettable. Even though the shows that aired earlier that week were pre-recorded, fans could still sense that something wasn't quite the same. On August 11th and 12th, viewers tuned in expecting the usual morning banter, that spark of spontaneity that makes Live with Kelly and Mark feel, well, alive. But instead, what they saw were moments that felt a little distant. Charming, yes, but offbeat. Behind the scenes, something deeper was happening. While those episodes rolled on screen, Kelly and Mark were juggling more than anyone realized. Mark had been working tirelessly on a personal passion project, an ESPN documentary called Running with the Wolves, a 4-part series about ambition, heart, and family, co-produced with Kelly herself. It was more than just a show for them. It was a dream that had taken years to build. Mark described it as his life's work. And when he said that, you could see the sincerity in his eyes. He wasn't just being dramatic. He meant it. The project was raw, authentic, and deeply personal. It wasn't just about soccer or storytelling. It was about identity, legacy, and love. Kelly often teased him, lovingly, of course, saying she couldn't understand how he poured so much of himself into it. But that's what she adored about him, his passion, his drive, that unshakable focus that first drew her to him so many years ago. Fans didn't know it, but while Mark was in Los Angeles for the documentary's final promotional push, Kelly was quietly holding things together back in New York. She filled the days with guest co-hosts Rita Ora, Jenna Dewan, Jackie Tone, and others, all of them stepping in with their own spark, but none could quite recreate the effortless magic she shared with Mark. Their chemistry wasn't something you could script. It wasn't something producers could replicate. It was real. And then came the moment that stopped everyone in their tracks. When Kelly finally returned to the studio after her short summer break, something felt different. Viewers could see it. That flicker in her smile, the way her laugh trembled just slightly. Then, in a moment that no one expected, Kelly's voice broke. She tried to steady herself, but emotion overwhelmed her. Through tears, she shared that Mark had been facing a sudden health scare, something private, something frightening. The audience fell silent. The woman who had spent years radiating joy and confidence suddenly looked small, fragile, human. She spoke softly, her words trembling but sincere. She said that even though Mark is strong, the sudden turn in his health had shaken her to the core. Her love for him, the kind that had carried them through decades of highs and lows, was written all over her face. Mark had always been her rock, her partner in every sense, and seeing him in pain had broken something deep inside her. For a moment, the cameras faded away. It wasn't about ratings or production anymore. It was about love. And that's what makes their story so unforgettable. Because behind all the glamour, behind the laughter and the celebrity life, Kelly and Mark are just two people deeply in love. Two souls who built a world together, who raised a family, and who somehow still make each other blush like newlyweds. When Kelly spoke about Mark's condition, you could hear the ache in her voice, but also a glimmer of hope. She talked about how proud she was of him, how much strength he carried even when things got tough. And even through her tears, she smiled. That kind of smile that only comes from decades of shared laughter, fights, forgiveness, and unshakable connection. The audience sat in silence, some crying, others just holding their breath. And as the clip spread online, fans flooded social media with love and support. Thousands of messages poured in, people sending prayers, encouragement, and gratitude. Because Kelly and Mark's story reminded everyone of something we sometimes forget, that even the strongest, brightest couples face storms. But true love, it endures, it holds on, it fights back. Later that week, when Mark appeared again, he looked tired but thankful. He joked with Kelly, making light of things the way he only could. She laughed, really laughed, the kind that comes from relief. The audience cheered. It was as if the whole studio exhaled at once. Mark thanked everyone for their messages and then, in a rare, unscripted moment, looked right at Kelly and said, "You kept me strong." It wasn't just a line, it was a confession. Kelly smiled, eyes glistening. She leaned over, touched his hand, and whispered, "You're not getting rid of me that easily." The room erupted in laughter, and just like that, the cloud lifted. It was a moment that perfectly captured who they are, raw, funny, and utterly devoted to each other. The world saw two people who've weathered fame, pressure, and life's unpredictability, and still come out laughing. And for all the glitz in the spotlight, their bond remains their greatest accomplishment. The following week, the show returned to its full live format, and Kelly seemed more radiant than ever. The banter was back, the spark was back, the warmth between them filled the room like sunlight through a window. They spoke about lighter things, funny family stories, Mark's endless fascination with fitness, and Kelly's hilarious take on trying to rest while planning 3 things at once. She teased him about his documentary, calling it his 4th child, and he playfully rolled his eyes, saying, "At least this one doesn't talk back." The audience roared with laughter. It felt like home again. But beneath the laughter was a newfound depth, a reminder of how fragile and precious life really is. Kelly's vulnerability that week wasn't just news, it was a love letter, a testament to what it means to stand by someone's side when things get hard. Through every challenge, through every unexpected turn, they keep finding each other, over and over again. And maybe that's why people love them so much. Because no matter what happens, whether it's pre-recorded episodes, surprise absences, or health scares, Kelly and Mark never lose their humanity. They never lose their warmth. They remind us that love, when it's real, is messy and beautiful and worth every single moment. So as fans continue to tune in each morning, they're not just watching 2 TV hosts, they're witnessing a love story still being written. One laugh, one tear, one live show at a time. And if there's one thing that's certain, it's that Kelly and Mark's story isn't just about television. It's about devotion, humor, resilience, and the kind of love that refuses to fade. Because some connections, they're simply meant to shine, even when the cameras stop rolling. Thanks for watching Star Expose. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next big story.